Is there anything that says more about respect for marriage than a drag queen who looks like Cher if Cher was a dude with bad taste? Hey, everybody, I'm Steve Green with Bill Whittle and Scott Ott, and this is Right Angle, brought to you by the members of BillWhittle.com. And gentlemen, I know it's a jokey intro, but this is actually some pretty serious stuff. We're recording this on Tuesday, December 13th. Ooh, Tuesday the 13th. I think that must be bad luck. On the 13th, when Joe Biden, the alleged president, is holding a big ceremony for his signing of the Respect for Marriage Act, which just really gets the federal government involved in ways that in marriage that it's not supposed to be. We've got a Supreme Court decision, though, so what are you going to do? These guys got that now. Oh, well. And among the guests at today's signing is a drag queen named Marty Cummings. Seriously, Marty, this does not make an attractive female. It's just true. I've got to say this. But what gets me about this was something, there's a fairly new account I follow on Twitter called The Feminist. And The Feminist is one of these people that I've really come to respect on Twitter and elsewhere that have, they're politically on the left when it comes to social issues, mostly. But when it comes to this trans and queer madness, you've got women saying, hey, I don't want guys in the ladies' room. You've got lesbians who are saying, I don't want to have sex with a man just because he claims to be a woman. And they're fighting back against this stuff. And The Feminist is one of these accounts. And she asked a question yesterday that said, I don't understand the left's obsession with drag queens as some sort of LGBTQ mascot. What does drag have to do with gay rights? Honestly, I'm genuinely asking. And I'd like to ask you gentlemen this question. I think, Scott, we'll start with you on this one.
And what is the question that you're...
The question is, we have seen, family-friendly
what is the left's obsession with drag queens?
Story hour. We've got drag queens in the White House. And let's face it, drag is a very, very niche entertainment field. It's a subset of a subset. Yeah. And yet
And they're not trans either, by the way.
No. These are guys with all the plumbing intact. And we are now seeing this glamorized in a way and used to sexualize children in a way, and now brought into the White House to celebrate something that has absolutely nothing to do with drag. What's going on here, Scott?
Yeah, it used to be a niche of comedy. It was Flip Wilson doing Geraldine. I mean, that was like, and it was played for laughs because it's ridiculous. And that's why it's funny, to see a guy dressed up like a girl it is to laugh, as they used to say. And so now all the things that used to be kind of shtick for comics are we're supposed to show respect to. I have a hard time doing that. I saw some pictures today I had some news channel on while I was reading, and I wasn't really paying attention. And I looked up, and I think this is somebody who works in the Biden administration or did. It's like this bald guy with this way too much lipstick on, even if he were a girl, and wearing this red lame dress that was deep cut, and he just looked like a skinny bald guy with a dress on and lipstick. And I thought, and he's sitting on stage in some panel discussion, like they were having some serious discussion.
He's in charge of spent fuel for the United States of America.
Not anymore. He just got fired.
Did he? Good.
Yes.
I thought he was going to
a long time
luggage
ago. Yeah. So this obsession obviously makes no sense to most Americans, and it's not, frankly, one of those things where people can go, well, I understand that Uncle Hank, wants to put on panties and a bra and walk around in public. I don't think anybody really understands it. They just say, well, I love the guy that Uncle Hank used to be. And so if he's doing that now, I guess we'll put up with it because, if I went nuts, I'd want my family to still love me and not divorce me, basically. It is a very visual icon. And therefore, as your Twitter friend there is objecting, it's because it has stolen the attention from what the feminist on Twitter would consider to be the normal people like herself or himself, whatever he or she is. And so all of a sudden you've got this moving, colorful, acting out character that then just steals the attention from everybody else. And that's because it's show business.
Yeah. Oh, Bill, did you
here's
have
the thing,
something?
Steve. Yeah, I did. You don't hear this term too often anymore, but drag queens are transvestites.
Yes.
And transvestites are men who dress as women, right? Transvestites are guilty of wishful thinking. They wish there are times when they like the appeal of women's clothes and to appear as a woman, and they go out and they dress like women, but they don't pretend to. They just like the accoutrement, right? That's wishful thinking. Trans is magical thinking. Magical thinking is different from wishful thinking. Wishful thinking is it would be nice. Magical thinking is it is. And the trans movement is about magical thinking. You are required now to believe that a trans person, a man who identifies as a woman, is a woman by definition now. That's what the trans movement is about. This is about saying that my declaration and my identifying as a woman makes me a woman, and that's not up for discussion for them. That's magical thinking, and magical thinking is very appealing to people. It's very appealing if you can sell people on the idea. If you want something to be true enough, then it's true. But that ain't how things work. So this idea about magical thinking has caused the trans movement to declare. And not only to declare, but to demand that you take a knee to the idea that because I say that I am now a woman, I am a woman, and you've got to accept that. Well, you know who has the most problem with that? Women have the most problem with that. There's a guy out there, many people have seen him already. He's kind of he's one of the real flag carriers for the trans movement. His name is Dylan Mulvaney. He was an actor, gay man for a long time. Decided he was going to become trans, it's day 13 of girlhood, day 13 of me being a girl. And everything that he does is a caricature of women. It's a mockery of them. Oh, it's day 27. I'm going to go out into nature. Let's see. Oh, a bug. Oh, right. And women see this and they think, what do you think you are? Now we're at the point where this guy is a spokesperson for feminine hygiene products and is showing people how to use them. And women are saying, so you're really trying to claim now that you have periods and that you have a menstrual cycle? Yes, I do. No, you don't.
Magical.
And that is degrading to women because what it's basically in the bottom line of what's going on there is in his magical thinking world, since I am now a woman because I said so, I should be having a menstrual cycle. And so I'm going to buy all the products I need to have a menstrual cycle. And the women that have to endure menstrual cycles are a little bit upset about this, and I don't blame them, right? So people hear this and they say you're transphobic. Well, first, I'm not afraid of them, but secondly, I don't hate them. I don't have any problem with them. What they want to do with their own lives, their own business. I don't care. I don't care enough to be upset about this. But what I do care about is the imposition of magical thinking on society. Because if you are forced to agree that by a man declaring himself a woman, that becomes a woman, that's like the trans.
It's Orwellian. It's the party insisting you believe that 2 + 2 = 5.
I've forgotten the term. You know this, Scott. When Catholics take the wine and the wafer,
transubstantiation.
it is transubstantiation. That's it, right? It becomes. It's not just representing the blood and body of Christ. It becomes that, right? That's the Catholic belief of transubstantiation, and that's what this is. It's a religious belief in transubstantiation. I used to be something, but now, because I've made this decision, I have magically become this. And that's why you have sitting Supreme Court justices who can't define what a woman is, because their political base is predicated on this magical thinking. And you have other guys who are being grilled by conservative Republican senators. What do you think a woman is? Well, what do you think it is, Senator? I'm not asking you. I'm asking you. You're not asking me. What do you define a woman as? Well, it's what it's always been. Okay, so tell me. Well, you know what a woman is, and I know what a woman is. Yes, I understand that. Tell me what you think a woman is. He won't do it, right? He can't. Because if he says what a woman is, and everybody knows what a woman is, put aside the fact that you don't have to be a biologist. Anybody has got eyes with this can tell this thing, right?
Usually.
But they can't say it, right? That Supreme Court justice said, what's a woman? Well, I'm not a biologist. Okay, well, you're lying. You know full well what a woman is.
And I think,
right?
Steve,
you're lying.
To a certain extent, these folks are becoming kind of the jesters at the head of the parade for the circus, because they do have a kind of a charm about them. I mean, they become prominent characters on TV. Everybody laughs at them, not laughs at them anymore, but laughs along with them. Oh, isn't he so cute with his dress and his makeup? You send one of those guys, a dude in a skirt, into your kindergarten class and have them read stories. And then the kids go home with this, he was nice. This person was nice, fun. And it cultivates the minds of youth to say, this is kind of a fun thing. It's part of our society. There's no harm being done there. And so how could anybody be opposed to it? Let the guy do what he wants to. And yet there are other things that I'm sure if I said, hey, look, I'd like to have my friend who is the chairman of the local Republican committee. He wants to go in and read stories to the kindergartners. Could he just go in there, dressed as a man? Because that's what he is.
No.
What if a pastor wanted to go in and read stories to your kids? They'd have a cow, right? They'd have a cow. You're indoctrinating our children.
Yeah.
You're right. You got that right.
The thing is, drag is for grown-ups. That's who it's for.
It's
not,
period.
It's not for kids. They're too young to understand any of it. Leave the kids out of it. I wanted to find out what it took to get a White House invitation these days, because I understand there are some security risks and publicity things, some PR things that you don't want to get wrong. And the president has teams of people to deal with this stuff. Nevertheless, I decided to pull up Marty Cummings' Twitter page when I was researching this stuff for an article I wrote for PJ Media this morning. And he locked it down. The account is set for private. But not before libs of TikTok got screen caps of tons of his tweets. And there's one from, I think, March, talking about one of these family-friendly drag queen story hours, tweeting, "The kids are out to sing and suck D." Just the letter D was in the tweet. So no, this isn't about just putting on a cute, friendly show for kids for the nice, silly man. This is about grooming. This is about indoctrination. Let's be clear about that. And it's been tacitly endorsed now by the White House, who either ignored this, didn't know about it, whatever the case may be. They don't give a damn. Either way is the point. And it's not about celebrating marriage. It's not about gay rights or anything like that. What it's about is the left is waging a war on femininity to put women in their place, to keep them as captive voters. And Bill mentioned the women that are speaking out about this. God bless them, ladies. God bless you, ladies. Keep it up. But there is a subset of progressive women who are lapping this guilt up because they think, for whatever reason, they've been conditioned to believe that they deserve it. They don't. This is the biggest case of battered spouse syndrome I've ever seen, and it involves an entire political movement and millions of victimized women, and it's being done, they say, for women.
Feminists are against it. At least several of them are speaking out, and credit needs to go where credit is due.
Damn right.
Large numbers of gay men are speaking out against this because one of the things they're saying is they're making us look like the perverts they always claim we were. We just want to, live our lives decently.
Alone, yeah.
But the reason they're concerned is because they're concerned about the kids. They know it's destructive to the kids. And to be fair, there's a significant number of drag queens who are saying this is not for children. This isn't a children's show. This is something we do for adults at nightclubs at 11:30 at night when everybody's had a couple of martinis. This is something for adults. They understand it. And this idea that this is Look, I saw there are a couple of, you probably know of them, Steve. I don't know if you do or not, Scott. There's a small group of Russian TV hosts who are ultra nationalist Russians, right? These are the kind of people who are saying we should just simply nuke Ukraine, put an end to this thing, right? These kind of people, right? They're absolutely nuts in terms of being pro-Russian. And they were talking about the trade with Brittany Griner. I saw this woman, I saw the translation, right? She is not a friend of the United States. She says, let's just make sure that we get this straight. This is a Russian patriot who basically is opposed to NATO and America and everything. She says, I want to just make sure I get this straight. You've got a U.S. Marine who served his country honorably for years, right? He's a warrior who's risked his life to defend the country. And the United States decided to pass on this guy in order to get this American-hating lesbian back to America. That's the decision that they made. And she said, what kind of society does that? When you hear it from an arch Russian, it gets your attention, you know? I mean, this person is our ideological enemy. And there are reports that are coming out that were squashed pretty immediately, that it wasn't a question of like there was one deal on the table, that there was a choice to be made. Now, whether that's substantially true or not, but it's been reported, and then those reports have been redacted. Maybe they were redacted because they turned out not to be true. Maybe they were redacted because they were embarrassing. But this thing, this celebration of you said that it's a war against women. I think it's bigger than that. It's a war against the entire idea of normality, right? The entire idea that there is a norm has to be destroyed. And that's part of the plan, right? If 96% of the population is heterosexual, and you can reduce that to being a choice, and there is no more normality anymore, then it's just a question of how big the group you belong to is, right? Look, I get it. I am 100% in favor of not only of civil rights, individual human rights. What you do with yourself is your business. I don't care. I really don't care. I wish you all the very best. But when you start to make an effort to normalize this by having this kind of thing at press conferences and having story time for children, you have stepped inside the range of my nose now with your arm swinging, right? And now it's time to push back, and that's what we're doing.
Indeed. I can wrap this up in about 10 seconds here. Just one last thing. Bill is correct. It's not just a war on women. It's a war on normalcy. And it's a very effective tool the left has used with this trans movement. They very purposely conflated a mental health issue with a civil rights struggle. And in doing so, they're not just making pantomimes of women, they're making a pantomime of the entire concept of natural rights. And that is why we've got to fight so strongly against it. All right, that's your right angle on that, brought to you by the members of BillWhittle.com. If you've been watching these for free, we'd love you to become a supporter. Thanks.